Democrat Party still just don't get it. The American people do not want men competing in women's sports and dressing in their locker rooms, but they continue to still stand on that talking point.
Those people are threatened by your strength, by your joy in being fully who you are. My daughter once said to me that those who fight against trans people are just jealous of the freedom that they have taken to be fully who they are.
And because they refuse to defend the rights of what the American people believe in, enters a new candidate into the ring, Stephen Anthony Smith. Take a listen.
The borders needed to be closed. He was right to do that, but only because Biden opened them. Had Biden followed Barack Obama's method in his plan and what he did in deporting even more people than Trump did in his first term, you wouldn't hear me saying that. But when you let anywhere from 12 to 15 million people cross the border illegally, swearing in our face, spitting in our face while and telling us it's raining, figuratively speaking, by telling us there was no border crisis when clearly there was, emergency efforts were necessary.
I know what you're thinking. What does this big mouth from New York know anything about politics? So he's not a threat. He's not a threat at all, right?
The Democrats need to take him seriously. He's a threat. If you're a Democrat that wants to run for president, or if you as the party in general don't want someone like Stephen A's popularity or people to start paying attention, more attention to his politics, and you don't want people to give more consideration to him running, then you nip this in the bud. You start taking him seriously.
Man, she was hard to listen to. She sounded like Kamala Harris or AOC in Munich. But she does have a point. You can't underestimate anybody coming out of nowhere and winning a nomination and winning the presidency. They used to think Donald Trump was a joke before he came down that elevator.
Mr. Trump recognized that the real problem was a lack of leadership, and so ultimately you didn't blame Little John or Meatloaf. You fired Gary Busey. And these are the kind of decisions that would keep me up at night.
And now, these Trump-hating politicians are planning on boycotting Donald Trump's State of the Union address. They say Donald Trump is not presidential and is not fit for the office of president. But they want to go and act like fools and idiots and boycott the State of the Union. But Stephen A. Smith ain't having it.
If you're going to act as juvenile, as petulant, as petty, as you accuse the President of the United States to be, how are you ever going to hold a high moral ground, at least high enough to judge him accordingly? You see, when you go to the American people and you ask the American people, yo, stand up, step up, and handle your business, stop bitching and screaming all the time, how come that can't apply to elected officials? Why do they get away with that?
I agree. Why the hell do they get away with that? Because if it was Donald Trump, he would get absolutely destroyed. It'd be all over fake news saying Donald Trump is un-American and he's not fit for office. But the Democrats feel that they can do it. They can be unprofessional. John Fetterman was asked what he thought about the Democrats' plans to boycott Donald Trump's State of the Union address.
Yeah, no, I mean, if you want to boycott it, that's really, you're up to it. But I just hope they don't do the kinds of things that some did last year. I mean, there's just no dignity if you have paddles, if you are yelling and saying those kind of things. I mean, you can agree or disagree on things, but if you're going to show up, just do it with dignity because, really need to respect the office. And now they're doing like a counter programming. And I mean, that's never going to go well. I mean, it's like, regardless who the president is, the counter never really lands, and it's really kind of just doesn't compare.
Stephen A. Smith has beef with a lot of people in the Democrat Party, But there's one in particular he just can't stand, and he may be the top Democrat nominee in 2028. Gavin Newsom.
No way, Gavin Newsom. I don't want to make you uncomfortable. I don't want to go back and forth with you, interrogating you like I'm some prosecutor or whatever. I simply want you to answer for your state about the homelessness that Obama just alluded to, which he labeled an embarrassment. About the crime. About defunding police. About being a sanctuary city and state. About billions in debt.
If Gavin Newsom truly want to be taken serious as a presidential candidate in 2028, he's going to have to start answering the tough questions. His approval rating continues to drop. It was 39% in December, and now it's 45%. And you know who sees blood in the water? Crazy Bernie Sanders. Mr. Alagagi. He's going to California, and he's stomping all over Gavin Newsom.
These billionaires are going to learn that we are still living in a democratic society where the people have some power.
Bernie's trying to get a bill passed in California to tax the millionaires and billionaires. But Gavin Newsom says that's not a good idea. But do you think Bernie Sanders gives a damn? Absolutely not.
There is one person, the governor of California, that is actually quite critical of the billionaire's tax. Do you have a message for Gavin Newsom?
No, he does what he does. He might disagree on the issue, and that's what I am.
And this is why I believe the Democrat nomination is up for grabs. And Stephen A. Smith might have a chance of taking that nomination in 2028. Let me know what you guys think. Drop a comment, like, comment, subscribe. Follow God, not culture.